The book, Attitude is Everything. Change your attitude, change your life. Part 1. When everything begins with attitude. Have you ever noticed this? Some people wake up late, get stuck in traffic, deal with pouring rain, miss a deadline, and still smile. They somehow bring positive energy into the room. Others have a stable job, a decent paycheck, and no major problems. And yet, they walk around drained, bitter, and convinced life is unfair. The difference isn't in their situation. It's in how they see their situation. Jeff Keller used to be a lawyer, educated, certified, employed, but inside, he was quietly slipping into depression. Every morning felt like a battle. Every workday felt like going to war with himself. Then, one night, flipping through late-night infomercials, he bought a self-help audio program, something most people would laugh at. But that moment changed his life, not because the tapes were magical, but because for the first time, he changed one small thing, his attitude. Attitude, Keller says, is the window through which we see the world. When we're kids, that window is crystal clear. We believe, we dream, we fall off a bike and get back on. We get teased and still draw another wild picture. But as we grow older, the window starts to get dirty. A parent says, "You can't do that." You fail a test and think, "Maybe I'm not smart enough." You get rejected and believe, "I must not be lovable." And we don't clean the window. We let it fog over. Soon, we think the world is dark, when really, it's just the dust on our lens. Keller tells a simple story. Two people walk into the same cafe, same waitress, same food, same wait time. One says, "What a lovely meal." The other complains about slow service and cold coffee. The world didn't change, only the window did. If life doesn't feel quite right at the moment, maybe you don't need to change careers. Maybe you don't need to move to the countryside. Maybe you don't need to rebuild your life from scratch. Maybe you just need to clean your window, because attitude is the one thing you can always control. It doesn't depend on your boss, or your paycheck, or whether your partner says yes or walks away. It depends on how you choose to see. Part 2. You are a magnet, attracting whatever you think about. Everyone wants a better life, more money, more meaning, more connection. But Jeff Keller asks a question that stops you in your tracks. What are you thinking about? Most of the time, not just once, not just in passing, but again and again, day after day, month after month, year after year. Because here's the truth. You become whatever you think about the most, like a silent magnet. What you focus on inside pulls in experiences from the outside. Jim Carrey, the actor and comedian, once wrote himself a check for $10 million. On it, he wrote, "For acting services rendered." He dated it 5 years into the future. At the time, he was broke, jobless, unknown. But every single day, he visualized his success, seeing himself getting roles, living the life he dreamed of. And in 1994, 1 year before the date on the check, he signed a movie deal for exactly $10 million. Coincidence? Jim says no. He believes it happened because he thought about it so many times, he couldn't help but succeed. Jeff Keller calls this the law of dominant thought. You can think positively for 5 minutes. But if you spend the other 23 hours doubting, complaining, and fearing, your life will still move in a negative direction. It's like working out for 10 minutes a week, then eating fast food every day and expecting to look like a fitness model. Want to be wealthy? Start living like a wealthy person in your mind. Want to be happy? Stop repeating your miseries. Want to succeed? Don't spend the whole day worrying about failing. Thoughts are like muscles. The more you train them, the stronger they pull you. whether you want them to or not. Try this exercise. Write down the top 3 things you want to achieve in the next 12 months. Read them aloud at least 3 times a day. But most importantly, feel them. Act like they're already happening. Don't wait for perfect conditions to think big. Think big, and conditions will start aligning. Your mind is a 3D printer for reality. If you keep picturing failure, chaos, or hopelessness, you'll print a life that matches. But if you feed your mind bold, exciting visions, you're building your own magnet. And the universe responds to the frequency you keep sending. Part 3. Mental imagery, the secret weapon of successful people. Here's a simple question. What do you see in your head every day? Not what's in front of you, but what plays in your mind when you close your eyes, when you're driving, sitting alone, staring into space. Are you picturing yourself failing, falling apart, getting rejected? Or are you picturing yourself on stage, earning what you're worth, living the life you want? Jeff Keller calls this your mental movie, and guess what? You're the director. Celine Dion, one of the world's greatest voices, once said, "At 5 years old, I imagined myself standing in front of thousands of people, microphone in hand, hitting a high note while the crowd went silent." She was 5. No one taught her about the law of attraction. She just created a mental movie and played it on loop. And life couldn't resist that vision. We don't act on logic. We act on the images in our heads. Afraid of public speaking? You've already imagined yourself stuttering and being laughed at. Afraid to start a business? You've pictured failure, debt, and embarrassment. Afraid to love again? You're watching scenes of being left behind. Jeff Keller says it clearly. Those old mental movies might not even be true anymore, but you keep replaying them every single day. Here's something to try. Close your eyes. Picture yourself doing the thing you fear the most, except this time you're doing it successfully. Feel the room. The sounds, the energy, the quiet rush of winning. At first, it'll feel blurry, maybe awkward, but stay with it. Your brain doesn't know what's real and what's imagined. It simply follows what you show it most often. If you're in sales, visualize closing a tough deal with ease. If you're a creator, see your content being shared by thousands. If you're relearning a skill, imagine yourself mastering it again. This isn't fantasy. This is brain training. Now, let's make it even stronger. Write down a powerful affirmation, something like, "I inspire people with my voice." Put it where you'll see it every day, on your mirror, your desk, your screen. Then close your eyes for 5 minutes and replay your success story. Feel it, because emotion is the language your subconscious understands. Jeff Keller says, when the image is clear and repeated often enough, you'll start acting in that direction without even trying. You might be unemployed. You might have just failed. But if the mental image in your mind is vivid, emotional, and strong, that's the direction your life will go. The movie you play in your head today becomes the life you live tomorrow. Part 4. Commitment, the key that unlocks every door. Everyone wants success, but most people only want it when it's easy. They want it, but not if it means staying up late. They want it, but not if they have to face rejection. They want it, but not if someone might laugh at them. Jeff Keller puts it simply, success isn't for people who want to try. It's for those who commit to doing, no matter how long it takes. Commitment is the moment you stop negotiating with your dream. Take David Baldacci. He sold tens of millions of books, but for 10 years, he wrote in silence, every night from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. No book deal, no money, no fame. By day, he was a lawyer. By night, he was a writer that no one read. So why keep going? Because he didn't just want to be a writer. He committed to becoming one, however long it took. Commitment isn't about what you say. It's about what you keep doing when no one's watching. It's easy to commit when you're excited. But will you keep writing when no one's reading? Will you keep training when no one's cheering? Will you keep walking when everyone else has given up? Commitment means you don't need motivation anymore. You are the motivation. Here's the magic. When you commit, the universe starts to move. Jeff Keller shares a story. Early on, he had no fame, no clients. But then, a tiny article of his got published in a small local magazine. One person read it. They reached out, suggested he write a newsletter. That newsletter reached someone else, then another. A chain reaction started, all because Jeff stood still long enough with his dream. Commitment has power. It draws opportunities you never saw coming. So here's the truth. Commitment separates the people who talk about dreams from the ones who live inside them, the ones who need daily motivation, from the ones who act anyway, even when no one is watching. If you haven't quit, then you haven't failed. Part 5. Turning adversity into opportunity. Adversity isn't the end. It's a comma, not a period. Everyone faces storms. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe someone betrayed you. Maybe you got sick or went broke. The common feeling? That's it. Game over. No more chances. But Jeff Keller flips the story. Every adversity carries a seed of opportunity if you're willing to look at it differently. Take Dave Bruno, once a high-level executive with a steady career and family life. Then he got laid off. And just as he was trying to recover, he nearly died in a car crash. He was hospitalized, broke, drowning in debt. But lying in that hospital bed, he remembered something small. The quote cards his mother used to tape around the house. That tiny memory sparked an idea. What if he brought those quotes back, but made them pocket-sized, something people could carry with them? That became Success Gold Cards, over 2 million sold. Adversity doesn't create who you are, it reveals it. It doesn't ask if you're ready, it demands to see who you are right now. Jeff Keller himself thought he was stuck as a lawyer. Then depression pushed him to buy a late-night infomercial tape. That low point turned into his turning point, not because life changed, but because his attitude did. Here's a new way to look at struggle. Stop asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what is this here to teach me? Every hardship carries a hidden lesson, but it's not obvious. It's buried in frustration, pain, and noise. You have to clear that away to find it. Jeff lists 7 gifts of adversity. It builds resilience. It teaches gratitude. It forces you to grow when you've been standing still. It shuts one door so another can open. It reveals inner strength you didn't know you had. It humbles you. And, most of all, it reminds you of what truly matters. Maybe you're going through something dark right now, and no one's asking you to fake a smile. But you still have a choice. See this as the end, or see it as your test before a new chapter begins. Jeff Keller reminds us, no hardship is wasted if you use it to grow. Part 6. Words, the seeds of success. I'm just tired. It sounds harmless, but it's more dangerous than you think. Listen to what you say each day. I'm not good at this. I was born unlucky. I can't do that. Sounds like casual talk, right? But Jeff Keller says, words are food for your mind, and your mind never skips a meal. Now think about the loop this creates. You believe you're not enough. So you say it. Then you start to believe it even more. You pull back, avoid risk, you fail. And you say, see, I told you I couldn't do it. And the loop repeats. It's not other people stopping you. It's your own words, mining away your confidence from the inside. Jeff shares a personal example. He used to always say, I'm terrible at fixing things. For 40 years, he said that. And guess what? He couldn't fix a faucet if his life depended on it. Not because he lacked ability, but because his words told his brain not to try. That's the real danger. Not that you can't do something, but that you've locked the door before even seeing if it opens. Words don't just describe reality, they shape it. Think of someone who says, "I'm lucky," and actually seems to be. People who say, "I can do this," act differently. They rise earlier, try again faster. Smile with more belief. Words are like the pen that draws your brain's GPS. Every time you say, "I can't," you're steering yourself off track. So here are a few phrases to stop using and better ones to try. Don't say, "I don't have time." Try, "I haven't made it a priority." Don't say, "I don't know where to start." Say, "I'm learning how to begin." Don't say, "I'm not good at this." Say, "I'm getting better every day." Pick your words like you pick seeds. If you want good fruit, don't plant poison. Jeff Keller says this: "The words you repeat aren't just sounds. They're the blueprint for your future. So from today on, treat every word you say as a brick. Build something great with it." Part 7. Who's around you? Do they fuel you or drain you? You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Sounds like a cliche, but it holds weight. Spend time with procrastinators, and putting things off starts to feel normal. Spend time with negative people, and complaining becomes your default language. Spend time with those who say, "You can't do that," and you'll hesitate before trying anything new. Jeff Keller makes it clear: attitude isn't isolated. It spreads from the people around you. So, who's draining you? They're not bad people. They might be close friends, co-workers, even family. But they all share one trait. They pull you down when you talk about goals. They focus on risks, not possibilities. They tell you to be realistic. But their version of reality is just a tiny box they built to feel safe. And here's what makes it hard. You often don't realize you're being drained because it happens slowly, quietly, day by day. Now think about the ones who fuel you. They listen when you share your wild ideas. When you fail, they don't mock you. They ask, "What's the next step?" When you forget your strength, they remind you who you really are. With them, your energy rises. Your belief expands. You become better just by being near them. Here's the takeaway. Attitude is contagious. You can't help being influenced, but you can choose who influences you. Check your mental environment like you'd check your physical health. Who lights you up? Who drains you? Be honest. Walking away doesn't mean hate. It means self-care. It means protecting your energy so you can grow. Jeff Keller sums it up this way: surround yourself with positive people, and you'll become positive without even trying. And if you're feeling tired, unmotivated, maybe the issue isn't you. Maybe you're just around the wrong crowd. Part 8. Action. Without it, all your thoughts are just dreams. Some people say, "I think positively every day, so why hasn't anything changed?" Jeff Keller hears this a lot at his seminars. People take notes. They nod along. They read every self-help book. They write down their goals. They dream big. And then they do nothing. They wait. They get disappointed. And eventually they say, "Positive thinking doesn't work." But here's the truth. Thoughts plus action equals results. No action? No results. You can dream of a fit body, but if you never work out, nothing changes. You can visualize wealth, but if you don't learn, don't invest, don't try, you'll still be stuck where you are. Jeff Keller says it clearly. Success doesn't knock on the doors of people who sit around waiting. It shows up for those who've already taken a step forward. Action is the bridge between what you imagine and what becomes real. Without action, everything stays in your head. And remember, action doesn't have to be huge. It just needs to be consistent. Don't aim for the finish line in one giant leap. No one does that. Want to write a book? Write for 15 minutes a day. Want to start investing? Watch one good video every night. Want to get fit? Start with a 10-minute walk. Success doesn't require a dramatic breakthrough. It just requires you to begin. Now, what's the biggest thing holding most people back? Fear of messing up. Jeff admits it. He delayed for years. He was afraid of sounding dumb, afraid of writing poorly, afraid of being laughed at. But one day, he realized nobody starts out great, and people don't laugh because you begin. They laugh because they didn't have the courage to. So if you make mistakes, fix them. If you move slowly, adjust. But if you don't act, there's nothing to improve. You've made it this far, you've listened, you've reflected. You connected with Jeff's message. But what will you do when this video ends? You don't need a big move, just one small step. Send the email, sketch the idea, look something up, make a call, move your body for 5 minutes. That step is the difference between being a viewer and being a participant in your own life. The world doesn't reward dreamers. It responds to doers. Part 9. It all comes down to one choice. Here's the final question. What attitude will you choose today? Life still looks the same. You still go to work. You still deal with people you know. You still face pressure, bills, and stress. But Jeff Keller reminds us, what makes the difference is not the outside world. It's the attitude you bring into it. Everything is a choice, not your talent, not your luck, but how you respond. You can't control if your boss is difficult. But you can choose to ask, what can I learn here? You can't choose the family you were born into, but you can decide how to respond to that reality. You can't change the world, but you can always choose how you'll react to it. And that choice, that's what shapes everything. Final act. Call to action. Let's be honest. If you want to change your life, start with something simple. Your attitude. You don't need to read 50 more self-help books. You don't need to follow some guru with 1 million followers. You just need to ask yourself, every morning, what attitude will I choose today? Every time negativity creeps in, pause, take a breath. Shift your perspective. Every time you feel like quitting, remember why you started in the first place. Jeff Keller doesn't teach you how to get rich fast. He simply shows you that success begins in the quietest place of all, inside your own thoughts and words. So, ready for action? If you believe attitude is everything can make a difference in your life, or in someone else's. You'll find a link in the video description. Buy the book there, and you'll also help support this channel through the Amazon affiliate program. And now, if you're still here, I know you're someone who wants to live better. Go out deeper, more fully. Drop a comment below. Tell me, what attitude will you choose starting tomorrow? I read every message, and I reply to each one. If this video helped you in any way, give it a like, and subscribe to Investory Hub. That's where I share more book reviews, more powerful strategies, and more tools to help you grow both your income and your mindset. This may be the end of the video, but it could be the beginning of something bigger for you. Attitude is everything, because it's the one thing you can change. And it changes everything.